Hi friends and welcome back to my channel where we were learning about fractions. What are fractions, how to write fractions, numerator and denominator, representing fractions with help of diagram, representing a fraction on number line and types of fractions. But we have already learned what are fractions, how to write fractions, numerator and denominator. So here we remove them from the list. And in part 2, we are only going to learn representing fractions with help of diagram and representing a fraction on number line, types of fractions. But now, let us revise what have we learnt. Okay. So, we have learnt what are fractions. Fractions are a part of a whole. In a fraction, the parts made should be equal. How to write fractions? A shaded part of a fraction can be written in numbers as 3 by 6. Numerator and denominator. Numerator, the shaded part is written at the top and the equal parts made are written at the bottom and is called as denominator. 0 can never be in denominator. Friends, we have learned all these points in part 1, and if you have not watched my part 1, then please watch it now. Representing fractions with help of diagram. Here is the first topic of our today's video. Okay, so friends, we know that how to write the fraction for diagram. Example, a long side is a rectangle and is divided into 7 equal parts and 4 are shaded. So we can easily write the fraction for the following as 4 by 7. So friends, here is a rectangle and divided into 7 equal parts and 4 are shaded. So if I tell you that write the fraction for this diagram, then you can easily write it as 4 by 7 because 7 are equal parts and 4 are shaded, right? But how do we represent diagram for a fraction? Let us see. If we want to know how to draw a diagram for a fraction, then we must know the concept numerator and denominator that we have learnt in part 1. So friends, if we want to know how to draw a diagram for a fraction, okay, then we must know numerator and denominator concept which we have learnt in part 1. For example, draw a diagram for the fraction 4 by 8. Okay, so here they have given you the fraction 4 by 8 and told you to draw a diagram. And they have easily drawn a diagram here. 8 equal parts and 4 shaded. We must know that to draw a diagram for fraction, we make the equal parts on the base of the denominator. Okay, the denominator is 8. So we have made 8 equal parts. And the numerator is 4. So we have made 4 shaded parts. Okay. As following the definition, we have to follow the definition of them. You know the definitions which we have learnt in part 1, right? So you have to shade the parts as per the numerator and draw the parts as per the denominator. Here are some examples. Here they have given you some examples. Look at those examples carefully so that we can move forward. Okay, now the second topic is representing fraction on a number line. Okay, so if we want to represent the fraction 2 by 3 on a number line, we all know what a number line is. And we usually represent numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Means we represent numbers on a number line, right? But if we want to represent a fraction on number line, then let us see. Above is a number line representing the fraction 2 by 3 on it. In the next slide, we will see the steps to represent fraction on a number line. So friends, in this slide, we will see the steps. Example, represent the fraction 2 by 3 on a number line. Step 1. Draw a number line and write 0 at an end and 1 at the other. Step 2. Mark 3 points on the number line between the distance of 0 and 1. Step 3. Mark the fraction 2 by 3 on the second point on the number line and circle it. Okay, So first of all, draw a small number line and mark 0 at one point and 1 at the other. Okay, and then we know that we have to make parts as per the denominator. So we will make 3 parts. To make 3 parts, we do not draw 3 points. Okay, we will draw just 2 points. See, they have only drawn 2 points and automatically there are 3 parts. Okay, so mark the fraction 2 by 3 on the second point on the number line and circle it. So the first part will be 1 by 3. So the first point they have mentioned 1 by 3. And the second point will be 2 by 3. Okay, and below 1 they have written 3 by 3. See, it is not necessary to write 3 by 3 because we all know that 3 by 3 means 1. Here are some more examples of fraction on number line. Observe these examples carefully so that we can move forward. Okay, now let's go towards our next point, which is types of fractions. So here are some types of fractions: unit fraction, like fraction, unlike fraction, proper fraction, and improper fraction. Remember one thing, that we know that the fraction of 4 by 9 is a fraction. But do we know that 14 by 9 is a fraction? If I say 4 by 9, you would say that's a fraction. And if I say, is 14 by 9 is a fraction? You would say no. Right? You would say no. Why? Because 14 parts cannot be shaded from 9 parts, right? You would say that 14 parts, how can 14 parts shaded from 9 parts? So that is not a fraction. Well, if I say that the fraction of 14 by 9 exists and 14 by 9 is a fraction, then let's see that in the next slide. Types of fractions. First is a unit fraction. Unit fractions are fractions having 1 as the numerator. For example, 1 by 8, 1 by 5, etc. Friends, unit fractions have 1 as numerator, means one part is shaded. Example, 1 by 8, 1 by 5, etc. It doesn't matter what the new denominator is. The denominator can be 35 or 235, whatever it may be, but the numerator should be 1. Our next is like fraction. Like fractions are fractions having same denominator. Okay, like fractions have same denominator. Like fraction is not a single fraction. It is 2 or more than 2, means a group of fractions having same denominator. For example, 3 by 5, 4 by 5, 2 by 5. Here you can see 5, 5, 5. 5 is continuously coming. So it is a like fraction. Next is unlike fraction. Now when you read the name unlike fraction, you might understand the definition of unlike fraction because the opposite of like is unlike. So unlike fraction will be opposite from the like fraction. And what is like fraction? Fractions having same denominator. Means what will be unlike fraction? Which not have same denominator. Okay. Unlike fractions do not have same denominator. For example, 3 by 5, 4 by 9, 6 by 8. Here 5, 9, 8. The denominators are different, right? So that is unlike fraction. Okay, so next fraction is proper fraction. Fractions with numerator smaller than the denominator. Example, 4 by 9, 2 by 7, etc. Proper fractions always have smaller numerator. 4 is smaller than 9 and 2 is smaller than 7. Now friends, you will say, what type of fraction will this be? Because basically the numerator will always be smaller than the denominator. See here. Improper fractions. Fractions with numerator greater than the denominator. Now you would say, how will the numerator be greater than the denominator? Example, 12 by 7, 13 by 12, 34 by 12, etc. Like I said you before, the fraction 14 by 9 exists and is also a fraction. Okay, friends, improper fractions means fraction is numerator greater than the denominator. Okay, so how is this possible? I am going to make a special video about mixed fractions, and in that video we are going to learn this. But till now, whenever someone asks you a question that is 12 by 2 a fraction, what would you say? You would say yes, 12 by 2 is a fraction. Let us learn about that in mixed fraction, where I will upload it later. And if you like our video, then don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon to get notifications regarding to our next videos. Okay? Thanks.